So Doomsday happened, right? It's the apocalypse now, but I still want to travel. I wonder where I can go on my next holidays. Well, hello there, I'm Détroit. I'm drawing a travel poster today. You know, the minimalist, aesthetic panel to advertise a place. It looks really cool and I want to make one. Consider subscribing now for no reason, because I know I should say it in the beginning even though you haven't watched the video yet. Don't worry, I'll remind you towards the end. Also, you can tell me in the comments what you want to see me draw. Anything goes. Fan art, original art, any style. I want to see your suggestions. Alright, travel poster time. Now, as I said, it needs to be minimalistic and aesthetically pleasing. For that second part, we'll wait until we add colors. For now, let us sketch a place and decide where we want to go. The idea I had straight away was to represent a post-apocalypse place. Don't ask me why, this is not how it works. I don't know why I want to draw that in particular, I'm just doing it. Leave me alone, okay? The central part of the drawing will be a road going off in the distance, towards a city probably. On the side there will be mountains, just to add to the composition. The other side will have buildings that will be partially broken down and destroyed. For a while I'm considering adding bomb craters, but as you will see I won't add it later. A crater is harder to do minimalistically and I don't want the apocalypse theme to be so obvious at first glance. For the same reason I sketched a nuclear explosion mushroom in the distance, but I won't draw it as obvious as that. The sketching part is quite quick, so now I'll straight up go in with colors. Now, I'm not a graphic designer, I'm more about drawing. I'm pretty sure this drawing would have been better and easier to make using Illustrator rather than Photoshop, but I don't have Illustrator and I don't want to learn how to use it for now, so I'll have to do it my way. For that, let's go over the rules of a travel poster as I imagine them. First of all, minimalist. To define all of my shapes, I'm using only the lasso tool. I'm free drawing the road, but all the rest is very geometrical, so I'm using the polygonal lasso tool. That's for the minimalist part of the travel poster design. I'm making every big shape on their own layer, which I can make better later with clipping masks. The main point here is to make the city one big layer. If at this point in the process I define every building separately, I know I will lose the minimalist aspect and draw too much detail. Now, second aspect of the style is colors. Each layer needs to be gradiented between two similar colors. For the sky I chose a green, and I chose an orange for the ground. These colors contrast very much and feel apocalyptic for some reason. Orange, you can imagine a desertic place, like a lot of dust, etc. And green feels radioactive and unnatural. However, because it needs to be very pleasing as well, I'm changing it slightly with a hue and saturation layer, instead having a greyish blue-green combo. Now, the entire piece is basically two-toned, with the road bringing a bit of sky color in the middle of the ground, making an attractive composition. The light source, I imagine, is right behind the mountains, like a third of the canvas on the left, and you'll see why later. With a clipping mask, I'm adding different shades of dark to the mountains, using the polygonal lasso tool. For the city layer, I'm going in and only adding the shading on one side of some buildings. While doing it, it feels like it's not enough and I really want to add more, but I know I have to add only a little bit of it. Your brain will define the different buildings by itself, I don't need to make them apparent at all. That's what's so cool about it, only two colors and good shapes and you instantly know it's a city. I'm also adding a layer with shadows on the ground, adding a bit more substance to the piece. Now, at this point, where I had the phone pylons and lines, there is no sense of apocalypse at all yet. There's one electrical post that has fallen, but that's basically it. Now, how do we add the sense of a doomsday scenario without making it too obvious? The mushroom cloud. For that, I don't see really well how to make it using the lasso tool, so I'm using a hexagon as a brush with 100% opacity and pressure sensitive size. Making random cloud trails around, I can get it to look circular, as if the mushroom was already dissipating. That way it isn't too obvious, but you still know what you're looking at. With more and more lasso tooling, I'm now adding chunks of rock near the buildings with the same color palette, so you know it comes from there. To go with it, I'm removing some of the clean edges of the buildings in order to make indentation, like they exploded or something, like something impacted them. For that, I'm using a third tone, but one that is really close to the other two. Again, I don't want it to be distracting, just something that you will see from the corner of your eye and that will make you look at the poster for a bit longer maybe. That's basically it for the design of the landscape. I'll add a few shadows, light lines on the road and a bit more density to the main cloud, but I don't want to push the design any further than that. I think it looks good as it is. Let's not ruin it with unnecessary details when this is supposed to be very minimalistic. However, this is a travel poster for advertisement, so there is one more thing we need: the name of the place we want to visit. Now again, I maybe should have used a program that is more focused on design. In Photoshop, I only have a very limited list of fonts I can use for text. I know there are ways to add more, but I need some stuff from Adobe for that, and let's just say I'm maybe not really using an official release of Photoshop. Yeah, I shouldn't say that too loud. Anyway, I wrote visit in white, and then I wanted 3D text for Apocalypse, which is the name of the place coincidentally. Since I don't have the 3D text thing and I'm not satisfied with the options I have from the features in Photoshop, I'll make my own by duplicating the text and making it look 3D. Now you can see why I left the right hand side of the ground empty and I didn't want a crater there. I needed it for the text. And with all of that done, I'm ready to call it finished. This one was very pleasing to do, and I'm not used to make minimalistic art, so it was a very good challenge. Leave a like on the video and tell me in the comments what you want to see me draw next time. I liked this picture so much that I actually went ahead and printed it before making this video. I think it looks really cool as postcards. Look at that! I also printed last week's drawing. There'll be a link to it at the end of the video. If you too want to get a print of this, you can visit the link in the description to appeals.com, where you can find all my designs as stickers for phones, laptops, water bottles, anything you want a sticker onto. Use my link though, so that you can have a few % off your order. I'm not sponsored by Appeals, but I do get a commission for each sticker, so that's a good way to help me if you want. As always, subscribe and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!